Welcome to the first episode of In the Box. I'm Sandy Plaschkes, co-founder and VP of Marketing at Owner's Box, the first weekly fantasy sports platform ever. Going forward, we're going to have a ton of content coming on our YouTube channel, and are excited to announce that our beta signup has just opened. So make sure you head on over to ownersbox.com and be one of the first to try weekly fantasy sports. Today we're covering some very intriguing topics surrounding the return of the sports leagues and all the built-up excitement fans have shown over the last few weeks. I'm with our 3 summer interns, Jackie, Jeremy, and Max. Let's get right into it.
Well, Sandy, first of all, I just want to say thank you. It's been a great time being here.
Cheers to that.
I think it's been about 6 weeks so far, and it's just been a great time, great environment in the office. Everyone around here is super cool. We've spent a lot of time going through the product, testing out the platform, just finding new ways to improve it, make modifications. And it's a big bummer now that I have to leave. Everything's starting to get exciting.
Awesome.
Got sports coming back in like a week. So
You're leaving at the best time.
It's unfortunate. I mean, trying to stay involved somehow.
For sure.
Of course, we'll be doing these podcasts. Hopefully, I'll be able to hop in virtually on Zooms or something like that.
We got my boy Eddie on the stick, so we'll work in some virtual.
Eddie will figure something out.
Some virtual action for you on Zoom or something like that. But I think we dive right into it, boys. Let's talk about the sports returning. So personally, I've been watching KBO, EPL soccer, all these leagues that I wouldn't probably usually watch if regular U.S. sports were on. So what for you guys? What's been your experience watching sports and in this 3-month period? How have you guys enjoyed it? What's your motto here?
So for me, I'm not going to lie. I took about 2 months off. No gambling whatsoever. I'm a big NBA, NFL guy, MLB, and all my leagues got postponed. So I went to golf Thursday through Sunday. I'd be betting on golf. Didn't know much at the start. Got on a couple of heaters, lost a few weeks. Not great, but overall, good time. And I'm ready for MLB, NBA, and the big NFL to come back.
What about you, Jeremy?
Same thing. Absolutely addicted to
you
golf
guys,
right now.
These interns, man, they love the golf. I'm telling you.
Also addicted to playing in golf also. So, it comes both ways. When you're betting, you want to play.
What's your handicap?
To be honest, it's so bad, I don't even calculate it.
Can you? The real question is, though, can you break 100?
I have.
Consistently, though?
No, not consistently at all.
I'm at least 110 to 115.
I don't even know what I am.
This kid doesn't golf. In my prime, back in the day when I'd golf and not work in the summers, I'd shoot in the 80s consistently. But
lose a few bucks on the course.
Oh gosh, my buddies, I went to a school where our golf team was the number 1 in California. All my buddies are great golfers, and they would just clean me out on the course. Obviously, I'd pick up a lesson or two through that, but not a huge golfer, but love watching it for sure. So let's do a little bridge here. So what of the 4 major U.S. sports leagues are you most excited for the return?
Oh, NBA for me, for sure. Lakers, big Laker fan. They got some unfinished business. I'm excited. The bubble is going to be crazy. I think LeBron's going to do it, going for that 4th championship. What do you guys think?
I mean, NBA, I think it's the most fun to bet on. The excitement at the end of those games, unmatched, But in terms of NFL, just watching that, the excitement as well. Can't wait for it. MLB.
Finally.
We got a week now.
Yeah,
July 23rd.
I can't remember the last time I watched a baseball game. I can't wait.
Can't wait. It's going to be awesome.
I'm really excited to see the non-filtered part of the NBA. I want to see how they kind of go about that, and if they allow us to kind of see the whole unfiltered aspect of the game.
You mean
I think there's no way.
You mean the audio, you can hear it on the cameras and stuff?
Yeah, that'd be great.
I don't know if they can allow it or
the players will not. There's no way.
Yeah.
I think it's been cool. I watch soccer and you see they're obviously aren't doing fans in the stadiums. They're doing audio, fan audio. It's obviously fabricated. It's all right, but you can still hear them communicating regularly. Obviously the fans cheering are off count, right? It's not always timed up perfectly. So, it'd be awesome to hear the NBA players, but they're going to be swearing like sailors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. They're going to probably do the TV delay, which is pretty stereotypical of the industry, but it would be awesome to hear, play calls being called out, defensive stuff being called out. I think, the NBA is such a smaller stadium, everything echoes, so you'll be able to hear that kind of stuff much better in the bubble scenario for sure.
So golf being one of the sports that's on right now, they don't have fans there, of course, and they've had a few of the players each tournament that will volunteer on specific days to be mic'd up. And it makes it a little more exciting. Obviously, it's great having fans being able to watch the reaction that they have, but being able to hear the players, and I mean, if they hit a bad shot, they're, oh fuck, like
No, to the
and they'll-
point. No, to their point.
You'll hear it on
Remember,
the TV
was that last
too.
week or 2 weeks ago when the
2
guy,
weeks ago.
the guy was
Canadian.
he was in the bunker, right? And he had his ball and he obviously hit the
Yeah.
sand, which is obviously a rule violation. And the guy goes, "Oh fuck, I just cheated."
And you hear great things.
He
but-
literally he just said it out loud, and obviously the rules officials are right there.
Yeah.
He came right over and said,
So for me, NBA, they probably talk tons of shit. I would love to just be able to hear with no delay.
I just don't think it's gonna happen because golf is probably the easiest sport to be able to watch your mouth and put
classy
a
game.
filter on if you're mic'd up. But if you're playing NBA, NFL, there's no filters on the court, nothing.
All I gotta say is, just imagine J.R. Smith mic'd
Yeah,
up.
exactly.
Like that dude.
Just- I don't think-
that
I
dude's
don't
probably
see
drinking Hennessy every night in his suite.
Smoking a few blunts or something.
I just saw a clip the other day of some guy on the golf course recently who farted, and he went,
Yeah.
"Oh, that was a
Oh, I
little
saw
louder.
that.
That was
I
a little
saw
louder
that.
than I thought."
I mean, I think, it's organic. I'm a fan of it. I really would like more transparency. Let us hear the players. I think, with the sports viewership being all from home today, let these fans hear it. I think, Tiger Woods, imagine Tiger Woods mic'd up on the
that would be
course. Like,
hilarious.
Speaking of Tiger Woods, did you guys see that Masters bet?
oh, the guy that bet the Masters, he bet the Grand Slam too. Like an
Grand
idiot.
Slam, 85 grand. Great fucking bet.
Did you hear the video of Tiger at the practice range? The guy was like, "Hey,
So
Tiger."
funny.
He's like, "Hey,
So
Tiger, what'd you think about that Masters bet?" He goes, "Great bet, but that Grand Slam bet was stupid as hell," or something like that.
That's fucking awesome.
So funny. But I think Tiger Woods, obviously one of the biggest legends, or the biggest legend in golf history, in my opinion. And looking at him playing now, it's so cool. After that Masters victory and after the match, he striped the hell out of the ball during that the whole time.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think Tiger Woods is a better golfer than Phil, personally. Even though we love Phil, he's a character as well.
is, yeah.
But those are the two faces of golf, in my opinion. It's been great to see TNT doing all that stuff outside of the PGA environment. Fans want this engagement. The match was a great way to do that, and I think golf viewership skyrocketed during. Right? I mean,
Crazy.
It's the one sport where it's individual. You can keep your distance. It's not football where you're tackling guys. Basketball where you're playing hard defense, that kind of stuff. So golf's been huge, and I've loved watching it, and I will continue to. I always really have loved it.
During the match was perfect. Everyone was at home. People loved that. Great viewership for golf and created great fan engagement. I loved that.
I was never a big golf guy unless it was like a big major tournament or something like that. But during having nothing else to watch, I was so happy. Thursday,
it's awesome.
Yeah.
Thursday morning.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
what is
the
it like?
other good thing.
8 a.m. They're already teeing off. Like I loved it.
Like I wake up in the morning, Thursday morning, and I got Sung Jae. I'm a huge Sung
Sung
Jae
Jae.
guy.
He's been letting
The
me
pride
down
of
lately.
Korea, as I call him. But Sung Jae, I get a notification Thursday morning at 7 a.m. that he's teeing off. I'm already there. I'm on PJ.com watching the premier groups. Thursday through Sunday, and it's been great to have that at least. At first there was nothing, and then golf came back, and it was great for us. As fans. We're not the only ones, and there's thousands, millions of us out there. So it's been great to have that at least during these 3 months, right? So let's kind of switch gears here a little bit. What do you guys think about leagues like the NFL saying, minimum capacity of fans? Do you guys think that's doable, or what's your take on that?
I think it's doable because NFL September 1st they're planning on starting the season. Looking forward to the season, 16 weeks. Maybe we can get something going. Fans in the stadium. I think a lot of states are already allowing a minimum capacity, and hopefully by the end of the season we can see something go to the games. Maybe that'd be great. What do you think?
I think it's a good idea. I mean, even of course you're gonna watch the majority of the games at home on the TV, but going to a game, I mean, the environment that you have there, having a couple beers with your buddies and really being involved while you're there is important. But I don't think you're gonna have the same kind of like intensity when you're watching it on TV. In a football game, for instance, you have stadiums that are so loud, everything's shaking. They're trying to get their play calls out like that, can't even hear anything. So I don't think you'll have that with the 25% capacity, but I still think it's a good idea to allow fans to go. I'm sure it'll be safe. And I mean, if you're really eager to go and see a game in person, you'll be able to. I think it's important. And it'll bring some money in for the leagues.
Yeah, do you guys think that they're gonna find like alternative ways to tailgate, like fans? Like they're so crazy.
That's
They're so crazy.
Bill's
to
Mafia.
yeah.
What's Bill's Mafia
I
gonna
they're
think
gonna
do?
be
they'll
doing
still
something.
tailgate. I bet they'll open up the parking lots and stuff like that, but I'm sure they'll only have certain parking, like every 2 parking spots is open, so you can go and park your car there and get set up.
I just actually saw Bert Kreischer. Do you know who that is? That comedian?
Yeah.
He's doing a drive-in tour right now, and
Is he?
they're setting up exactly like that, where they have a certain number of distance,
Spaces in
a
between.
certain amount of distance between the cars, and then people are full on tailgating at these drive-ins.
Really?
Yes,
So, like
so
as normal,
With
like
social
just with
distancing.
distancing, right?
And
So,
so
if you're
it's-
in, if we were all in the same car, we'd be good.
Yep.
But like the car next to us, it would be a couple spots.
They'd be like,
Bert Kreischer, I love that guy.
he's the machine. There's enough distance so that you can be outside your vehicle, you can set up a barbecue and whatever, and still have distance between you and everybody else, and you can just scream at each other and still have a good time. So
I have a
it's
feeling
doable.
like Bill's Mafia. There's not gonna be
That's what I'm saying.
much social distance.
much-
You
No,
can't stop those guys jumping
you
on the
can't
tables
stop.
and
Those are
all that.
savages.
If you go on Twitter, you go on Barstool, anything Barstool posts on Sundays, Bills Mafia is like the center of attention. From Sunday before those games start, those 3-hour window, it's just
The
guys
tables
jumping through tables.
The tables have no
people
chance.
drinking like absolute fish. Like it's crazy. These guys, I mean, I've never seen anything like it. Obviously, I've been to my fair share of NFL games, but Bills Mafia, I mean, I gotta get to Buffalo one day once this dies down. I think that whole energy is a different level, and their team this year, Josh Allen. I mean, he's
Growth.
He has a strong arm. He's really developing. And last year at the back half was a great year for him. I think they'll be great. Obviously, their fans, I would say, are some of the most passionate in all the NFL. So
Definitely,
Don't
yeah.
forget they got Stephon Diggs,
Yeah,
number
that
one
guy.
wideout now. He's going to be good.
That was a big pickup.
did they lose any wideouts? Do we know?
No,
They didn't lose
same
anyone.
guys.
They didn't lose anyone. Yeah, so I mean, obviously those fans have been through hell with that team. I mean, they really deserve a good squad, and I think they're really working towards it. So, I mean, obviously NFL coming back, everyone's dying. Like, I'm a Packers fan. Aaron Rodgers and Danica Patrick broke up. I hammered Aaron Rodgers MVP line this
he's gonna
morning.
have a good
I literally saw this. Entertainment Tonight tweeted it. Aaron Rodgers, Danica Patrick split after 2 years. I didn't even take another breath before I went to my book and bet Aaron Rodgers plus 2,500 or even more. I don't even. What
Give
is
me
it?
that.
Did
Maybe
the odds-
3,000.
It must be plus.
Did the
3.
odds swing after that? They must.
Honestly, I
Or,
think.
or the Madden
I mean-
ranking, the 89 Aaron Rodgers Madden ranking.
We'll get to Madden rankings in a second, and that will
Wait on
definitely be
that.
discussed. But all I'm saying is, you look at Jessica Simpson, Tony Romo example. I mean, she screwed him for like a few years. I mean, she was at every game. She was basically the center of attention. The camera would jump to her 10 times a game. How do you think Tony Romo feels? Do you think
He's
this
up
guy
there trying to call plays and
He's
he
trying to
sees
call
her
plays.
face.
America's team. How do you
Yeah.
How do you function like that? Especially with her, the spotlight's always on her. She's so famous at the time, right? He got rid of her. He started going off. Aaron Rodgers gets rid of Danica Patrick. Great move. I'm all in on that. Hammer his MVP line. I will be back. Hey, when he wins it this year, I'll be right here saying the same thing I said now. He's going to win the MVP. You heard it here first.
Smart pick.
Smart pick. All right. So, I think, you brought Madden rankings up. I think we might as well dive into that. There's been a crazy number of people, talking about how wrong some of these ratings are, how right some of them are. Obviously, the 99 Club, you can't go wrong with Aaron Donald, Stephon Gilmore, some of those guys. I mean, they're premier players in the league. But, there was a few surprises to me. Anyone, that stands out to you guys in particular?
So I saw Kyler Murray tweeted Aaron Rodgers 89. 89 for Rodgers. The guy had 4 interceptions last year, 26
I was
TDs.
gonna
That's
say.
just straight disrespectful. He goes, that's so disrespectful to my guy AR. Completely disrespect.
Keep in mind, we're getting this from a die-hard Packers fan.
Two
Two of them
diehard
here.
Packers
Yeah,
fans.
take it with a
With a
honestly.
grain of salt when it's coming from there.
So we also got Deshaun Watson. He's a Pro Bowler almost the last 2 or 3 years. He's got an 86 ranking.
86.
Yeah,
That is
86.
a crime. Whoever at EA did that, you should be arrested. That is a crime. That dude puts that team on his back. Worst O-line in football. I watch them every year. Colin Cowherd, I love the guy. Watch all his NFL content. He always talks about how bad that O-line is. And it's terrible. You watch it, he's escaping the pocket on almost every throw. The guy is on the run. I have a buddy, my buddy Chase, huge Texans fan, hates Bill O'Brien. He's got they have issues all around. They have player personnel issues. They have management issues. They have all of that. So, I think Deshaun Watson, give him a couple more years. I think he's a top 5 quarterback. That might be a hot take. I think he's a top 5 quarterback in the league. Quote me on that if you want, but I really believe that. And I think, going forward, they lost. Did they lose a receiver this year?
They
Who'd
lost,
lose?
Hopkins, and now they got
Well, no,
Cooks. They got Cooks.
Hopkins, of course. How did I forget that? But, people blame management for that. I don't know. Long term, we're not going to know how that plays out. It's going to be tough. But, looking at Deshaun at an 86, that's just criminal.
That's criminal.
There's other quarterbacks on the list.
down.
Tom Brady
He's
getting
down
ranked
there.
at 90. I know their offense is going to be great. He's going to look good.
I mean,
Tom
I don't
Brady
know.
getting
I don't like
ranked
to
over
talk
Aaron
about it.
Rodgers is unbelievable.
I'm the one person that thinks Tom Brady is a system quarterback, and we'll find out this year. My name's on the line for this.
He's a terrible
But I
year.
will say you can't hate it on 90 rating. I mean, the guy is
you
the
gotta respect
GOAT.
him.
I hate to say it. I hate the Patriots. I hate Tom Brady, but he is the GOAT as it sits. 6 Super Bowls. Can't argue that.
He's
Ultimately,
42 years
What are
old.
you expecting to see out of
but
what are
he's
you
just-
what are you expecting
he's a
to see
game
out of the
manager.
Bucks?
Tom Brady is a game manager. He does everything right. He's a great leader, which people hate on Aaron Rodgers for the leadership role. You know, throws a couple bad balls, ducks his head. You know, Tom's not like that, and that's why analysts rip on Rodgers. I wonder if that's why Aaron got a low rating. Also, Aaron throws the ball away a decent amount. I mean, it's a smart move. He's not going to throw the interception. A lot of quarterbacks will take the risk in that scenario. Aaron's one of those guys who will throw it away and, you know, eat that loss of down, right, versus turning it over. So, you know, Colin Cowherd rips him on that. I will listen to him every morning. The guy rips Rodgers on it. But the fact that Rodgers is not ranked higher is a crime to me. That is my number one standout.
So correct me if I'm wrong here, but Tom Brady was with the Patriots before Bill Belichick. I mean, he really knew the offense before.
No, that's
better than
a
anybody.
heinous comment. I mean, he had a few years without him.
So do you think that him moving to the Bucks is gonna, hurt him?
The Bucks have one of the best offenses.
I know, but he's
in
gonna have
the
to learn.
NFL.
And
he
Bruce
he knew the
Arians.
Patriots offense better than anyone in the league.
I
That
know.
wide receiver duo is unlike any other. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, the one thing I will point out, though, is he's a great game manager. And you know what? They had Josh McDaniels. The thing about the Patriots staff is they're really concrete. They don't move a lot. They lost, the Lions coach a few years back.
Matt
It's
Patricia.
It's rare that they lose coaches. Bill's going to stay there as long as he can
Yeah.
fucking walk, basically. So, you know, he has that. I mean, that is the system. They've developed it. I mean, you saw it with Brissett. You saw it with the three. They did it with Hoyer even for a little bit.
Yeah.
These guys, it's a plug-and-play system. The defense, that's what Bill does well. He's a huge defensive guy. But you know, at the offense, you know, they don't want to commit mistakes. That's the biggest thing. They're very consistent. Check downs, not deep balls, you know, more focus on the short stuff, moving the ball down the field and taking up clock. That's what they do. So, you know, the system, Tom Brady was the perfect guy for that. Smart, makes the right decision. You know, you can't ask for more than that. But I think, you know, I say that as, you know, a 90's not surprising to me, but he's getting older, you know, with Bruce Arians, who's more run and gun. He's going to throw the ball a ton, you know, downfield stuff all the time. You saw him with Arizona. I just don't think, you know, that Tom will thrive as well as he did in terms of like completion percentage. You know, he'll make more mistakes in this offense, I believe, than he will in New England.
I agree.
Yeah. You know, so ultimately we'll see. I'm a hater, but you know, I think that team will be amazing. That receiving core, Gronk coming back. Of course, Gronk comes back when Brady's there. Like no surprise to anyone.
I think that was his plan the whole time. I don't know.
Took a year off, get the body right.
Didn't he lose like 80 pounds,
That's what
100
they
pounds,
said.
something like
And
that?
he
I
said
think
he
did.
gained more muscle.
Dude, that
It
guy
looks-
lost. He dropped out of the league, and I think within a couple months he had lost 80 pounds.
Yeah, I saw it. He has.
That's-
he also has like the
so-
hottest girlfriend
Yeah.
ever too.
Maybe.
Okay, girlfriend aside, he used to emphasize how gnarly it was to keep up his physique for the NFL. I mean, he was sitting at 80 pounds heavier than he should have naturally been.
Keep in mind, I mean, the grueling injuries he
Oh.
endured. It's insane.
Season after
ACL
season.
after ACL. I mean, guys, how do you tackle the guy though? Like, there's no. You
Can't.
hate to say it. Like, as I'm an offensive guy, I was a quarterback. I hate getting hit at the knees, but there's no other way to tackle the guy. He's
He's
a
huge.
body. Like, I'm not gonna go head on head with the guy. I'm gonna go at his legs, and that's ultimately why he got so injured. But I think it'll be fun to watch nonetheless.
It'll be a
Even
great
though
team
I
to
hate
watch.
Brady. I don't like that they're in the NFC as a Packers fan. You know, you never really know what's going to go on there. I think, other than that, they got that core of receivers. The defense, question marks, but we'll see.
Young
ultimately.
defense, young
defense. So, let's take a little bridge here. Let's talk about the state of sports betting. What have you guys been betting on? What do you think the viewership's going to be involved with sports betting? You think there'll be more presentation with sports betting, mending the gap between regular sports leagues and all this betting action going on? Because, there's been a huge divide with those two things over the last, ever since sports have been on. Sports betting's never really been accepted. So what do you guys think going forward? You think they'll change that?
Yeah, so like the golf matches, you saw the Tiger and Phil matchup. You saw all the lines on the TV, the live betting odds. And now look, the Tigers, for instance, they're incorporating odds lounges where you can go bet. It's pretty crazy. And even the Denver Broncos, they signed some deal.
MGM.
MGM,
Yep.
right?
Obviously, the way you watch sports is changing a lot lately, especially with now you're not going to go to the games, or if you do, it's only going to be 25% of the people there. And with sports betting becoming legal all over the country, I think a great thing to see would be, I mean, you have these huge casino companies, all these big gambling enterprises. I think it would be really smart for some of them to throw, say, you're watching a football game, you're watching whatever you're watching, and there you have the odds there, and then you have some sort of website that you could go and place your picks there, place your live bets. I think it would be really smart. It would drive user engagement.
Yeah, so for years, a couple years now, they've been able to take their advertising, but they haven't been able to implement their platform. So now it's finally growing tension, and maybe, who knows,
huge.
in the future, we're going to see some crazy things happening in these stadiums. Creating a user engagement is going to be awesome. I can't wait.
I just think, as we go forward, as sports leagues start to accept it, we're going to start seeing some crazy platforms come into play here, I just, as a sports bettor myself, I know we all do it. The more accepted it is, the more comfortable you feel talking about it, the more comfortable you feel watching. I don't want to, if someone I don't trust that's a bettor like me, I won't be open about it as that I'm a bettor, right? But if you guys, if betting's accepted, everyone's doing it. Like if I'm at the stadium with some fan I don't know and he has Broncos money line, for example, I have the same bet, I'm instantly more engaged with that guy.
Think about user engagement in the stadium between that sector and just allowing the fans to increase their experience. How do you think that would impact the game and just your experience of going to the actual stadium?
What they were doing in Denver, right? They're putting a sports book.
It's a suite. Yeah, I'm reading it right here. It's going to be a BetMGM lounge at Empower Field, which is their Mile High Stadium. And it's basically going to have, anyone can go in there, engage, place their bets, and leave. I wonder what it's going to be like, though. Is it going to be more mobile app based, or do you think it's going to be more like horse racing?
I think, I was about to say.
Where you go to the
place your
track,
ticket.
where you go to the track, place your ticket, maybe hang out, have a few drinks, and then leave. Ultimately, I think the mobile app route would be great. I just don't know legalization, how that plays into it, and then also, usability in terms of just for general fans, right? It might be easier to have that on-site scene, right?
Here's how I think of it. These games are so fun to go to already in the first place. And imagine, so I know at least us three, we've all been to the horse races in Del Mar. And just going there, going up to the counter, being able to place a bet and bringing your ticket. I love to place 5 bets for the next couple races, bring all my tickets with me back to my seats, and then watch the next races. If you were doing that in the MLB, NFL, you had your bet slips with you in person, all the guys around you holding their bet slips, it would be electric.
Oh,
I bet
absolutely.
that stadium would go nuts.
Unbelievable. The viewership would just go up by the
Oh,
second.
of
People would
course.
love going to the games.
Yeah, as someone who's been in the horse races, as you mentioned,
races.
I would like to see a mobile app. I really would, and I think it will get there. But again, as I said, with the legal stuff, it's going to be a build-up process. You're not going to just go to a game and be able to download the Denver Broncos app or any other team's app and just start betting, right? Yeah. There's so much legal involved that, it will probably get there, but I don't see it for a few years. Ultimately, it will be more of the on-site, go place your ticket, maybe hang out, have a few drinks, and go.
I'm all for it. I think that'd be a great time.
And, I think, it's not just going to, it will appeal to the diehard fans, obviously, because they love betting. Everyone does. But it's going to appeal to the general fan who likes engagement, who likes
gambling.
Yeah, or anyone who just likes to gamble. They'll go. If I'm a local guy in my stadium, my team offers that feature. I think fan viewership. I couldn't imagine it's going to not skyrocket, right?
You could be a horse guy. I love going to the races because you can bet there.
It's literally going to look like that.
Padres are playing the Dodgers this weekend, and I can go.
You better
I
hammer
can
the
go make
Dodgers in
some
that
picks
case.
there. You're gonna get a lot of people at the games.
For sure. So let's just talk about another topic here. We're going to do a little bridge. Let's talk about some of the companies in our space, what we've seen over the last 3 months, sports gambling, fantasy, they're kind of the same vertical. Let's talk about DraftKings IPO during, and then also Penn National and Barstool. What do you guys think about that deal specifically?
Yeah, so the DraftKings Diamond Eagle merger was pretty crazy, but daily fantasy started off, and now they're a multi-billion-dollar platform. It's absolutely wild.
What do you to that point before you go in? What do you think that says about sports fans, sports bettors in general?
I think people are raising their eyes. People are getting their attention to the sports field. Look at this. Everyone's getting their attention. Barstool, it's blowing up by the second. People are trying to get in the space like crazy.
Blowing up. That's for sure.
So what do you think about the communal aspect of sports betting? Because, when I place bets, I'm always hitting up my buddies hey, I got this bet, that bet, Do you think there'll be some sort of platform that will, not only encourage sports betting and, community, but do you think, would you see yourself using a platform like that eventually once it's more accepted?
Oh, 100%. I think within the next couple of years, sports betting is going to be legalized in at least the majority,
it's already getting there.
I'd say
you see stuff every
75
day.
to 90% of the United States is going to be legalized for sports betting. The only thing I do see with that is, like you see with the legalization of marijuana, they tax it so hard so the states can make so much money. And I have a feeling they're going to do the same thing with sports gambling. Like the percentage of your winnings are going to go to tax. Like such a large percentage is going to be.
And that's a great point. I want to talk about Barstool and Penn, but I'll say this first. A lot of the states, it's a little more difficult to participate, as you guys obviously know, working here. But there's some states who really are starting to accept it, and I believe that will lead to just a full charge. The other states following along. You know why? The revenue numbers, they're insane.
Revenue's
fantasy
unbelievable.
revenue, we study that stuff here. They're insane, but sports betting, it's 4 or 5x those numbers, and it's really unbelievable. I mean, it really speaks to the diehard of nature of the industry. But
And that's the greatest reason for the states to legalize it. It's going to bring them so much revenue.
for sure, and it's just a matter of drafting the legislation, what's required in order to participate. Fantasy's a little easier to participate in as it's more controlled by the user. You can control the outcome, so it's a little different.
Yeah.
Sports betting a little harder, but as you said, 5 years from now, I think the landscape will be completely different. I think these states will accept it. Obviously, you're already starting to see that kind of wave building, but I really will think the 5 years from now, it'll be completely different than it is now.
And in these big companies that you see, DraftKings, Penn National, all of those big guys, they're all probably thinking about it, looking to expand into a sports book, something like that.
So DraftKings, they started as a daily fantasy company, and then now they expanded over the years to a online casino and
Do
a
they have
sports
a
betting
casino?
platform. So now they're growing by the second. And what is Barstool trying to do? They're trying to
Barstool, I think, is looking
so
at
here's
that.
what Barstool is doing. I mean, it's unbelievable. That company is very special. They do great. You know what they do? They build community. That's what it's all about, especially in the sports industry. Everyone likes being a part of something. If you're a Packers fan, you like being with Packers fans. You like engaging with them on a regular basis, right? That's what they've really done well. They've built that, and they've really, they're going to go Penn National, acquire them a minority stake. So much money. Basically, they bought the community of Barstool. Barstool's following.
And it's enormous.
There's not a more loyal following in sports than Barstool. These guys have eyes like no other, and what they're doing is it's so crazy. Any sports book on site, Penn National has so many on-site casinos. Every sports book that Penn National owns will be coined as a Barstool sports book.
Yeah,
which is
Barstool
insane.
also kills it in the podcast game. They got 2 of the top 10 podcasts out right now between Part of My Take and Call Her Daddy, which is pretty crazy.
I know that. I mean, that's what they do. They create great content. They're always spinning up. You see Barstool USC,
Barstool everything, yeah.
Barstool
Tulane,
colleges. It's
Barstool
a great
everything, yeah.
model. But they're more than that. They're really focused on the sports betting space because that industry is going to go crazy. They're in it at the right time. They got a great partner in Penn National, and basically every Penn National sports book is going to be Barstool branded. And you know what that's going to do? How many millions of Barstool followers follow Dave Portnoy? He does
And
the
are
Davey.
gonna hop on
He
that
does the
book.
Davey Day Trader.
I mean,
it's
that guy's not
genius.
even good at day trading, and people are following his trades. He's just full of
He
shit.
names a stock. He'll
Stock,
put a
well,
ticker.
hey,
He'll put
I
a
thought
ticker.
stocks only go up, boys.
He'll put it. Yeah, they do.
Airlines and cruise
He
lines.
puts a ticker on Twitter and it'll go up just because he put it up. I mean, he's got the
I
biggest
mean, he's
following.
been
on the-
featured
I
on
mean,
CNBC and some of the top.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Portnoy and CNBC. It's great.
he's
But ultimately, it speaks to the Barstool brand. Building that community of sports fans. These guys are diehard. No other industry like sports is so diehard like this. You know what I mean? They're building this huge revolution of sports betting. Like when you go, how many Barstool followers are going to try the Barstool Sportsbook? I would think the majority, right? The greater majority. You don't think Penn National was stepping up to the plate to acquire them? It's a no-brainer for them. And the people, there's people out there doubt the Barstool brand. It's more because they're uncut. They just say what they
Their
want.
following's diehard.
Which is their following's diehard, but there's those people who hate on them for that. They're building a business like no other, and they're starting this revolution. You can't, if you're involved in the sports space, you understand how big this is, how much is going to change from now going forward. I think it's a great time for Barstool and Penn National to team up and launch this sports.
So I saw a little snippet of in the Penn-owned casinos, they're going to implement a Barstool bar where you can actually place bets. What do you think that environment would be like, and how would that create engagement?
Dangerous.
That's all I gotta say.
Don't let me go drink hard liquor and start placing bets.
I think
I'll
you'd
be
be
live
losing.
betting like a sailor. This will be crazy. They're gonna make so much money, it's gonna be stupid. That's the bottom line. If that I didn't even know about that, I've done a decent amount of research. That's gonna be sick. I mean, as someone who likes to have a good time and also bet, I think those are just go hand in hand, right?
I don't think it's a matter of if all these states are going to legalize it. I think it's a matter of when. And, when that does happen, we're going to see bars like that all around the country. We're going to see gambling is going to be a regular thing. When you go to a restaurant, go to a bar, grab a drink, you're going to be able to play some bets there. And
For sure. Have you played daily fantasy sports and lost a ton of money while doing so? What about the long-term commitment and integrity issues of season-long fantasy? That's why OwnersBox is here, the first weekly fantasy sports platform ever. We're here to change the game and allow you to play with your friends and win real money fast. So head on over to ownersbox.com and sign up for the beta today. Spots are limited. Let's discuss what sports teams and leagues in general are going to do about no fans. Like, how will they make up for that? What do you guys think about that?
Like sponsorships, you see, like talk about the EPL, the soccer leagues, they're doing the sponsorships on the side of the stadiums. Like you see those flowing through constantly through the game. Talk about a little bit, like, what do you think?
Yeah, social media is just going to become such a big part. These teams of like 2 or 3 are going to become potentially as big as 10 now, because social media is just going to be such a big part of every single pro team since there's no fans in the stadium.
I agree. Over the last 5 years, have you not seen a rise of teams using social media, to engage more regularly? Like you see GIFs, I see teams trolling on social
In
media.
the comments, I always
Comments.
see teams in the comments.
It's all like it really shows how powerful social media is. I mean, you see our president in the US using it. Like people are on social media to engage with this audience. And as I said earlier in the podcast, sports viewership, sports fans are so diehard. You got to engage with them. And you see teams, to your point, engaging, just setting stupid shit, honestly, but it's just engaging with fans, showing their present. It's all about content in this modern era, right? So you've seen a lot of teams adapt to that ultimately, right?
Seen
Like
teams trolling in the comments.
Trolling, they're
Awesome.
gaining followers.
Yeah.
That's what they're trying to do.
Exactly. Gain a following, and then obviously, hopefully that translates to viewership or attending games once it's available, right? So let's talk more specifically towards, how will they replace fans in the seats? What have you guys seen? What do you think? What's it looking like going forward?
I heard about the virtual reality thing, which I just think is kind of fucking stupid. But
What do you mean? What do you mean?
I heard about putting cameras in the seats, and you can actually
VR.
buy. Yeah, so it's like VR, virtual reality, and so like you're watching the game from that seat. I don't know who in their right mind would pay for that.
Like I've seen on the EPL, they have the Zoom, the Skypes of the fans watching
they
from their
do.
homes,
So
which is
fun.
crazy.
I think it's kind of like, for me, I wouldn't be one of those guys,
Yeah.
but
I hate
as
it.
someone who watches EPL a lot, I like to see fans, like you see them going crazy after a goal. They always show them, it's good for those leagues. Like it's good for them to show the fans. Obviously the fans love the presentation aspect of that, but ultimately, there's going to be other things in place that replace that. I think the VR option personally would be cool. Obviously, it's an investment to have that kind of technology capability, right? So,
Jackie, I think you told me this, that at the Dodger Stadium, you can pay $200 to have a cutout of your
Yeah,
head.
so field level, they're charging like $249 for a cutout.
What?
And
You
then
gotta
the
be
club level.
crazy. You gotta be crazy to pay
I
for
mean,
that.
but that
That's
brings
insane.
money.
Oh my
That brings
God.
money. There's not going to be fans. You can have your face on every single
Would
home.
you pay $200 to have your face?
No, but people will. What do you think? People are going to pay.
think
Come on.
about all those, especially in LA's case. I mean,
Oh,
they're
LA
playing to
Dodgers are
their
the only ones that can pull that
demographic.
off.
They are playing to their demographic.
Sandy, you can see your face right behind home plate for $249. You doing it every single game, every single home game.
I'd rather just bet
240 per game or for the rest of
For the rest of the season, you can have your face on
Only
that seat.
is it per game or
per game?
Oh.
No,
no
for the
one
whole
wants-
season. For the whole
What?
season.
No one wants to
More than
see
a
your
tip.
face back there.
Yeah.
Some people will
That's
want their
what I'm saying.
face.
Ultimately,
Ultimately, they're playing to the crowd. First of all, LA, people will
It's
spend
creative.
that.
It's
But
creative.
I'd rather just spend my $249 betting on the game that's happening versus
Oh,
having
that's
my
for
face.
sure.
we're gonna have like Kylie Jenner's face in every
I mean,
scene
I know I'm a
back there.
good-looking guy, but ultimately, I'd rather just bet that. and,
I'm not so sure about that, but
It's hard to see, if you're an influencer, your example you just used, it's kind of harder to see, people don't recognize faces unless you're really, really popular. Like, obviously there's influencers who you just know by just a face, but, for the general population, that wouldn't apply as well, I don't think. But, I think they can get creative with it, I think buying ads for stadiums, will be much cheaper now. In my opinion, that could be a total misstatement, but I really do believe that. You see leagues like the MLS, trying virtual advertising with, projecting logos onto the field and rotating them, as they go. I think that will make it ultimately cheaper, the virtual option, because, you're not going on your hardwood floor in the NBA and painting it on whatever you do there, right? It's more just virtual, rotating every, 15 or so minutes. You can get multiple ads in there and, it will make it a lot cheaper. So I think that will be a post-COVID change that we see. The MLS obviously does it. They did it with Adidas. They're doing it with some other brands as well. But they're a smaller league. I mean, the NFL, they're NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL. It's a different echelon. So I think, integration with the virtual advertising is going to be not as fast there, but it's cool to see, leagues like the MLS trying new
Soccer's
things.
done the best with it.
So
for
like
sure.
even NBA now they have incorporated like a bunch of huge companies on like the right patch of their jerseys. Like so many companies are
soccer.
willing. So
Like
many
soccer.
companies are willing to pay just to have their brand on a jersey. And NBA wasn't open to that, and now they are.
Who is the Golden State one? They have like some Chinese company.
Oh, Golden
massive
State.
company that-
Can't remember, but there's
think it's like an
almost
R or
every
something.
single NBA team has some kind of
Yeah.
patch, and they say each patch is on 15 to 20 minutes
Oh.
per game. It's literally free advertising.
But it's expensive to get
I
a
mean,
patch on there.
expensive. It could be worth it.
Yeah. So what do you think about the NBA? So they're in this bubble now. Obviously, we've been talking about fans.
No, I want to just wait. I want to
gonna
circle
wait a
back.
sec?
You talk about patches on jerseys.
It was Rakuten, by the way. That's
Rakuten, yeah,
yeah,
it's-
that's Rakuten, and obviously they're moguls and worldwide. But what I want to say is, I'm reading this article right now. It says, as the NBA continues to search for new revenue, obviously without fans, they're obviously looking for new avenues to generate revenue. The patch program, which is your jersey advertisement, generated more than $150 million of revenue.
And it's just one little patch on
One
the
little
jersey.
patch right here,
And
so-
on the shoulder.
I mean, if you watch soccer, we keep
Their
going back to
entire
soccer.
jersey. You don't even-
Etihad Airways, it's always
All over.
all over the jersey, shoulder, whatever it is. Obviously, the bigger teams
Do
don't
they even
have as
have
many.
their team name, or is it just
They
the
don't.
teams just have a
soccer,
little?
what soccer does, which is interesting because
a
for the
patch.
longest time I was a fair weather viewer. Now I watch a lot more, obviously because COVID right now. But what teams do is they don't have their logo. It's not like Lakers where it's right
it's their
front and center.
advertisement.
It's their crest. So in soccer they do their crest on their chest, and then everywhere else it's advertisements.
Yeah, like
which is
NFL,
crazy.
MLB, they
for
have it
revenue.
around their stadiums. But it'd be interesting to see if they incorporate anything on their jerseys or maybe on the field, like directly, so us virtual
seen it
fans
yet.
can see it. Like it'll be pretty cool to see.
MLB? Can you think of anything in the MLB?
No, like you go to a stadium, you can see every like the banners and all the things coming up on the screens.
I can't see like the Yankees having an advertisement.
well, the
on
Yankees got strict rules with the
They're
hair.
strict. I just don't see
everything.
it happening.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't see it.
Was there not just an issue with
There's-
LeBron or Steph Curry or somebody who Adidas wanted to, or maybe it was an all-star team or something where somebody would not wear the Adidas gear because they had such a heavy Nike sponsorship? Was
They're
there
probably
not
not
just
allowed
an
to.
issue?
I don't
with
know
that?
Michael Jordan back in the Olympics.
I mean, I don't know the guidelines, but I know for a fact, like say for a turn, like something they play, they have an Adidas jersey. Say Kevin Durant, Nike guy, he would wear Nike shoes no matter what. Like I think that I would say it's more strict. Like the brands are really strict with their representatives. Obviously, LeBron, Kevin Durant, they're the leaders in the NBA. They have insane. I mean, LeBron has $1 billion Nike contract. That's insane.
That's
He
insane.
makes more money off Nike than he does playing, like easily. You know what I mean? So ultimately, he has to appeal to them more than anything else. So you see when teams are wearing different jerseys. Say it was NBA didn't have Nike until recently, right? And the players still wore Nike. If Nike got Kevin Durant, LeBron, they'd all wear their own brand, right?
The shoe thing lately, I think in the last couple of years they changed the policy on the shoes. So you'll see
The NFL did. I know that for
in
sure.
the NBA, you see guys that have their jerseys are all like white or red or something like that, and they're wearing neon green and yellow shoes. I don't think they used to be able to do that, and it's a new thing.
Yeah, I love that. NBA allows the NFL.
They
is
wear
so
whatever
strict,
shoe
people are
they
getting
want.
fined left and right. You see Odell Beckham getting fined at least once every 2
and
weeks.
but look, this whole point we're talking about right now goes back to Jeremy's point: social media engagement. Odell wears the Richard Mille watch.
Yeah, it wears a $500,000
He wears insane
watch.
clown shoes like the Joker shoes. NBA does the league fits. You guys follow league fits,
League Fits.
obviously.
League Fits is one of the best follows.
That has been literally insane. Like for viewership, for engagement, people love to see Kelly Oubre dressing like a fucking idiot, but I still watch it. Like I see these, it's sick. Like you see Russell
sick.
Westbrook
I
wearing
love it.
sick clothes, Chris Paul, all these guys. Some of the best players in the whole league. The transparency, loving to the locker room stuff, seeing them walk there with all these fits. I think it's awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To
You don't think
Richard
the
Mille.
followers are looking at the tags they have on those posts? And say, oh, what does he wear? I want that. You know?
Exactly,
Creates
yeah.
And then what does that bring in though? Brands want more of that.
The players
Ultimately,
love
the
it.
brands involved. The players,
Players
love
love it too.
The league loves it. The brands love it. It's everyone benefits from it. Social media engagement. Teams that put that at the forefront of their responsibility. I mean, you should see, like, they're just they want these regular fans who they may not go to a game, but they're passionate fans. Let's engage with them on social media. Let's respond to, the odd tweet we get and just see what happens, and you see that a lot more than you ever did before. I think it speaks a lot to the power of social media with sports.
I mean, even to the power of social media, these MLB players are playing inner squads right now. I mean, MLB's in 6 days.
I wish we could bet on that, to be honest.
And they're
On
do.
inner squads?
I would bet.
Inner squad. And
I would
they're
hammer
live-
the inner squad.
And they're live streaming on Twitter. Like, I'm sure so many fans are engaging just watching their team play because it's been so long.
I mean, I had a blast going to Arizona and watching the spring training. It's pretty similar to that.
I mean, as a kid, we used to go to baseball
All the
tournaments.
time.
You did too.
Yeah.
I don't know about you as a Canadian, but we'd always go to Arizona right where spring training was happening. We'd sit there for hours
There's
and watch games.
six teams
I don't
playing
care that it's
at the same time.
preseason.
No,
Like,
it
I
just
want to be
creates
there.
excitement.
Like, that's what I'm saying is, like, the MLB debates and then them taking so long to actually get the season going. Like, they're losing viewers. Like, we're more upper echelon, really really into it. But, the regular fan might fall off. Like, you see that a lot. I think the MLB lost a good amount of fans.
It would be pretty cool if they allowed fans at these inner squads. I think it'd be a
Well,
lot
you're
of
talking
fun.
about allowing fans in inner squads. You're not
You
even
don't know.
allowing fans in games, bro.
At 25%, whatever they're planning for the season long. I mean, I think that would be cool.
Yeah, I
right
think
now.
MLB's plan by the end of the season is to have some capacity for
I don't see
playoffs,
one.
hopefully.
Yeah.
That
Those
would-
stadiums
can't
are
see
so
that.
big they could have people 15 feet apart.
Well,
At
if
all
we're
times.
talking capacity, and we've seen, the Ravens trying to get like 20% capacity, as we've talked about as a group, I think NFL will have the easiest job of getting 20% capacity, but ultimately, NBA will have the hardest for sure in that
Definitely.
bubble. Like the bubble,
NHL
first of all,
as
we'll
well.
talk about the bubble too, but that whole, like, the stadiums aren't going to be big. There's not going to be fans there. We know that for sure. But, maybe MLB, I could see it maybe, but, NFL definitely has the
think
best
NFL
chance.
NFL for sure.
And to our point about, like, Bill's Mafia example, all that stuff, like, those are, like, NFL fans are die hard. Those guys love it. They want to be there. But, there's going to have to be, some fine guidelines that they have to follow. But I definitely think NFL is the best
I mean,
chance.
there's only 16 weeks for NFL. These other leagues have so many games.
Yeah,
It's just different. And the timing is
It's
different.
one game a week.
One game a
Exactly.
week.
One game a week. You watch your team. It's basically, I mean, for me, it's a religion. I don't miss any Sunday games. I'm always listening. I'm always watching. Obviously, as a Packers fan, I don't care if they play at 8 at night, 1 p.m. in the afternoon. I'm there. Eyes are glued. And, if there's alternate engagements, live betting on the TV, if I'm getting engaged through social media, like, that's as a fan, that's the experience I want. You know what I mean? And I think that we'll see a lot more of that with for sure.
With this virtual fan engagement is huge. All these accounts now are just trying to engage fans, get that following, and make you seem like you're there. Like
Like
they
the
want to put
Lakers
you
accounts,
there.
we follow all those Lakers accounts. Like, as Lakers fans, I follow 7 or 8 fan accounts, 100,000+ followers. Like, they're posting content more regularly. They'll post more unfiltered behind the scenes stuff that they get because they're obviously have big followings. But, like, the Lakers Twitter wouldn't post. But, there's sub Twitters that just follow these teams religiously, and you can really engage. More than you'd turn on SportsCenter, you wouldn't see all this stuff. You see videos. I saw a video of Dion Waiters and J.R. Smith draining threes this morning. Like, I wouldn't see that on the Lakers Twitter, but you follow these other fan accounts, which are huge. We're targeting a lot of those internally, right? So I think the rise of those will be even crazier with now, right?
You're not gonna see J.R. Smith on the Lakers account shotgunning beers or something like that. So that's why
You might see him smoking a blunt, but that's about it.
Did you guys see? Speaking of shotgun, did you see
No, that's
Myers
what I'm
Leonard
saying.
on the
I saw
Miami?
that. I saw
Absolutely,
a bunch of the
rinsed?
NBA guys are all ripping the tall boy shotguns.
Let's just say
everything.
that wasn't the first beer he's ever shotgun.
Yeah.
You know
the guy
what?
flipped it upright.
I don't blame them. They're in this bubble. I mean, they go to practice. They put their work in, but there's not that much stuff going on there. They have. I know some guys brought their monitors there. They're playing Xbox, which is
Josh Hart.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Xbox and the esports stuff, Josh Hart, Myers Leonard, they're with FaZe Clan. They play video. That's the one
they're
of the
making
best.
money. They're making money, too.
so much money. Not only that, I mean, it's one of their passions, as you guys know. But it's great to see the blend of esports and real sports come together. I think 2K and NFL, Madden, all these things will be huge, going forward. They already have teams. Every sports team is an affiliate team. Like, all the NBA teams have affiliate esports 2K teams.
Yeah, that's crazy.
10 years ago, you would have laughed at that idea,
Yeah,
right?
laughed.
Like, I would have literally laughed. Like, there's no fucking way that's gonna happen. Like, what do you guys think? I play a ton of Xbox.
see it all the time. I see professional athletes in all the sports playing Xbox, and they love it too. They're always on the live streams. They're doing Twitch, and the amount of users and engagement that they get just on their video games alone is unbelievable.
Agreed. And, it's gonna grow. I mean,
And
esports
is enormous. And
esports
it's blowing
gaming,
up.
it's not going anywhere. Betting, and fucking fantasy is not going anywhere. These are two industries that I'm very bullish on. I love them.
I think you can bet on
You
Call
can
of
bet on
Duty,
esports
and
now.
Call of
You
Duty
can.
and shit like that. You can bet.
Players
on.
Lounge. Have you heard of Players Lounge?
No,
It's
but-
basically a platform that allows you to bet. So say Jeremy and I are going to go play Madden against each other. We could throw $100 on, like, saying I think I'm going to win. I'll bet Jeremy $100.
And I
it's
bet-
basically a middleman between the game, the
That's
users,
blowing up
and
right now.
You can bet, and they're doing well. You know, you see a
With
lot of,
no sports right now.
exactly, and they stream, like, obviously if there's a big
Yeah.
game or a big bet on, they'll stream it and people watch it. You know,
I saw people betting on Call of Duty the other day on Warzone.
people.
That's
Just to show how popular esports is, look at Big Cat, what he did with the Tennessee Coach Dogs. Like, that is
That's amazing.
insane. That is crazy. Like, that
The
is
viewership on there
Yeah,
was
it's
just
crazy.
Well,
absurd.
I mean, that not only alludes to Barstool success, their model, they're great, but you know, it just shows how powerful media is, esports, gaming. Like, it's gonna grow. Like, the next 5 years of gaming and esports is just gonna go like that.
It's
literally.
entertaining.
It is.
definitely.
Yeah, those college football teams just took advantage
And
of
they're-
that, which
that's
is a
what-
great show of their social media. Because right when they saw it, Tennessee hopped right on it. Right, they hopped right on the trend. Same with
And they're using even crazier, which is I would never have thought this would be a possibility, but they're using it to recruit players now. Can
Yeah.
you believe that?
Yeah,
Say,
that's
As a
crazy.
recruit, if Coach Doug's,
Yeah.
I'm say I'm a top recruit. Coach Doug's is in your inbox, delivering you a virtual
so
message.
funny.
It's unbelievable.
Like, that's just a step above the competition. I think it's, schools are realizing, like, the power of this.
Yeah.
How can we get involved? How
Yeah.
can we get it? Ultimately makes their team better, their program
Virtual
stronger,
message
right?
and a new car or something like that to go with it.
I mean, Zion, what did he get? His dad got $400,000. His stepdad.
I mean, that's why. I mean, they're paying
So
players. We know it. That's why there's the debate. The G League, the rise of that. There's going to be a lot more players skipping college to do that.
Yeah, that's
I think NCAA knows players are getting paid. It's just the fine line of that happening. You know what I mean? Like, players are going to say, "Screw it, I'm just going to go right to the league. I'd rather do the G League and get paid."
Yeah.
If
Yesterday,
they're going to go
I'd
to
rather-
they're gonna go to school for 1 year.
I
Why
thought
would you do
they're
that?
starting to pay
Soon.
NCAA players. They're going to start paying them.
Coming soon. I think
Isn't
one more
it
They
year.
start paying. They already are.
Sponsorship, yeah.
paying
No,
them.
this year legally,
Yeah,
the players are being paid.
They better
I've
because
seen it.
everyone's opting out to the G League. Yesterday, the best player of
I'm
the
not talking
2021
about just
class.
NBA. I'm talking about like football, everything. The NCAA.
better.
I know it started in California, and I think I could be wrong, but I think it's the whole country now. NCAA is allowing players to be paid for their sports.
I don't know if it's
and the-
enacted. Is it
It's
official?
It's not enacted, but it's coming soon in the next 1 to 2
They
years. I
mentioned
know that
they
for
were
sure.
allowed. It has to be passed through, but
does.
But-
Yeah, I figured.
Think about how much revenue they bring into those schools.
They already do. They might as well start paying them. They're making way too much
mean,
off their
but yeah.
likeliness. Give them their jersey. Let them put the names back
let
on
the
the
jersey-
I bet
top.
they should take a percentage out of their jersey sales.
They should
take
sell
a
jerseys.
percentage
That's
out of
what's
their
gonna
sales.
happen.
Sell
Yeah.
jerseys. Put
Like,
the names back on. People
Okay,
love them.
I'm going to use an example. Like, back in the day, if this was legal, if this is all accepted, like it's going to be soon. Imagine Johnny Manziel, how many jerseys that guy would have
unbelievable.
sold.
So
Like,
many.
Johnny football jerseys. I would have bought one. I fucking hate A&M. I'm a huge Johnny guy. Like, the guy's he was an animal. He was one of the best players in college football history, in my opinion. Like, people would
think
buy that.
it's so
And
long
not only-
overdue.
it's- Who's benefiting from it? The schools are. The NCAA in general is betting from it, and fans are betting from it. It's a win-win for everyone, and I ultimately think we'll get there. As you just noted, they're moving forward with that stuff, but I think it's going to be a few years before they actually enact a lot of this legislation with that. It's such a ticky-tacky thing, in my
Like
opinion.
I go to Indiana. Victor Oladipo is one of their biggest stars. Number 4 he wore. Everyone knows who number 4 is. There's no name on the back. Like, you're buying a number 4 jersey. You're not buying.
Are you talking about a college? Did he go to
College.
Indiana
He went to
college? Yeah.
Indiana. Everyone knows it's Victor Oladipo. Put the name on the back.
Are they
Give
not
him some-
allowed? Are they not allowed to put names?
No,
on
they
the
can't put the name on the
Yeah.
back. That was banned a couple of years back. Put the name on. Those players are gonna get so much money. Like, they're going. Everyone knows they're going to the league.
What was it like that? Who was it in the jersey? McGregor wore the jersey the other day.
Oh my! The Draymond
guy,
McGregor. That's
was
so
so
funny.
funny.
CJ Watson.
CJ Watson.
CJ Watson.
The backstory to that is insane.
Unbelievable.
Insane. I think Mayweather's wife or one of his girlfriends had an affair with him or something.
With CJ Watson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that's the story. I could be wrong. I believe that's the connection. And then McGregor, as he was going to fight him, or at some point, wore the jersey to troll the absolute hell out of
Yeah.
him. And I think, but you see this, like, players
What a
engaging on
savage.
social media, trolling each other. You see Joel Embiid every year. He's a funny guy. What do you guys, do you think we'll see more of that? not only players engaging with fans, but players going at players on social media. You saw.
I love it.
You see it all the time now. I love it.
What about the Marvin Bagley? Is that his name on
Marvin
Sacramento
Bagley,
with him and Dame Lillard with the rap
raps,
verses?
like
Yeah,
that was
Wait, okay, so
10 years ago, that would have been a myth. Like that would have never
Even
happened.
Shaq, Dame
I
Lillard,
really
there's
think-
everyone.
Yeah, it's
They're
so
all
funny.
doing it.
majority of it's not real beef. It's a great way.
You think it's
a
fake?
great
You think it's
publicity
fake?
stunt, dude.
Yeah,
it brings
I-
in so much fucking audience, and so many people love to see that shit, and they think it's real. And like you'll see it all over the internet, Twitter, Instagram. They're blowing.
I
it.
thought Marvin and Dame
you
was
know,
real, though.
maybe there is a little bit of beef there for real, but in the end, both
gets
these guys
settled.
they're
are marketing the
benefiting,
shit
that's
out
for
of
sure.
themselves.
Yeah.
They're getting so much fucking traffic on their pages. I mean, I think it's brilliant.
I mean, yeah, for sure. I think it engages fans too. Like, hey, if I'm a
of
Sacramento
course.
Kings fan, there's not many of them, by the way. But if I'm a Sacramento Kings fan, I'm gonna be Team Marvin. Like, let's go. Like,
I'm
let's-
not gonna lie. You think I listen to Marvin Bagley rap? No, but
Yeah.
just because this happened,
Dame
I'll go on
Dollar.
his SoundCloud
Yeah.
and I'll go look.
Exactly.
Dame Dollar, dude, I love that.
I love it.
Yeah, so
Rapping in the free time.
ultimately, you know, we're pushing for that engagement, right? And I think with these players doing it, the teams doing it too, it's gonna be awesome. I think it will just benefit the future of sports really well. And I think the more they adapt to the new technologies, you were talking about that VR, that adaptation with the stadiums. I don't know how incorporated that will be going forward, like this year and the next few years, but it's cool to see all this stuff because, you know, I'm 23. I've been watching sports my whole life, basically. And, you know, a lot of this stuff wasn't present 10 years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's cool to see these advancements. So,
It's awesome too because the older demographic really loves it too. Even the kids, they keep up with the social media, but even the older demographic, they're seeing this. Like, the engagement is absolutely incredible.
what they do, like UFC does this very, very well. They put up tweets, like, of really notable athletes tweeting about it. Like, they put up, I think Patrick Mahomes was tweeting during the last UFC fight last weekend.
the live streaming in the bottom left
They
corner.
show
that was
bottom left
unreal.
corner. It says Patrick Mahomes tweet like these
didn't
fights
see
are
that.
sick. These
Yeah.
fights are awesome.
Really?
Like, how many
Wow.
fans? If I happen to be a football fan, like look, they're showing all. Like, look at all these athletes watching UFC.
Yeah.
Like
And when I'm watching
Dana
UFC
White does an unbelievable job with UFC. The Fight Island was amazing.
If I'm watching UFC and I don't agree with some shit, or I think the refs fucked up, you know, in one of the fights,
Which
I'm
they do all the
immediately
time.
pulling up my Twitter, typing in UFC, and a lot of times I look there, fucking tweet after tweet agreeing with.
So
No,
what was
last
that? What was
weekend,
this
Max
bullshit?
Sandy, we were watching that Max Holloway fight, and we
Yeah.
see like how the hell
Oh
did
my
he lose?
god,
How the
that
hell
and we
was
see
robbery.
and we see 10 plus athletes tweeting Max Holloway, Max Holloway.
Exactly.
Like, how
I
great
did-
is that engagement?
I think
I
UFC.
had Max
UFC
Holloway money
fucked
line.
up
I
last
had
week.
Max Holloway money line, which is a
They-
fucking shame.
They fucked up a lot.
So
last
did
week.
I.
That guy did not win. I don't care what you say. I'm not even a big UFC fan. My buddies love it. I watch it when I don't have anything else to watch. But ultimately, you know, I think it's rigged. That's just
I
my
think it's-
point of view.
dude,
I think
it's
it's gotta be
literally
rigged.
the- I think
it's
it was
like
the
soccer
fight-
with VAR. I think VAR is rigged to help books win.
The
I
fight
really
before
believe it.
that, they had like this UFC veteran, one of the best guys. I forget his name, but he was in there, and the ref let the fight go on at least a minute too long.
Jose
this
Aldo's getting the
yeah,
shit
Jose
beat out of
Aldo.
him, like-
I thought he was gonna die. I didn't think he was making it out of that ring. He was fucked up, and they were just the guy was bang, 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 hit after hit on his head, and it was so the ref really fucked that one up, and Twitter was just going off on
I
him.
mean, just that Twitter engagement is so big for viewership. Like, think about Patrick Mahomes, the biggest player in the NFL. Like, everyone follows
Yeah.
him. We're all seeing that on the TV. That just makes people.
We're rolling, dude.
cheers to that. Cheers to that.
All right, so let's just point out that we are not cutting. That kid just made a mistake, but you know what?
My pants are waterproof, by the way.
And for those of you who are not watching right now, Jackie just knocked over his beer, and we've got.
But you know what we're going to
quite a
continue to
mess.
talk about
Yeah, we're gonna keep going.
is, while he's cleaning up, is what athletes do you guys notice on social media that do a really good job of engaging their fans? Anyone in particular to you guys? Because I follow a few myself. I know.
talk now, because I gotta come back.
No, it's
wait,
fine.
keep
You'll
going.
clean it up.
We're- Yeah.
I like Stroman, Marcus Stroman. He's always active, and he just got in a fight. Did you see that with
I did
Grechek?
not. I did not.
Out of nowhere, I didn't know these guys hated each other. Apparently they do, and they start chirping each other on Twitter, like actually serious. And he's like, "You've been talking around behind my
No
back
way.
for all year."
I didn't see this. How did I miss
saw
this?
I was like, "What the hell?" Like they were literally just going at it in the comments. But that's just who Stroman is. He
Yeah.
goes after anyone who doubts him.
I
think-
love Strowman.
Yeah.
Former
Great
Jays
guy.
guy. Gotta
Yeah,
love him. I
gotta
miss
love
him, but
Uh-huh.
good
I think
dude.
the best best out of everyone when it comes to talking shit on social media is the fighters. You know, the Bronze Bomber, Tyson Fury.
What about McGregor?
McGregor.
You're gonna
So
sit here and name those
Masvidal.
guys before McGregor.
McGregor, dude, like
The CJ Watson thing, not HOF
it's
status.
nothing.
That's Hall of Fame.
I don't think it's anything new because they were talking shit on any platform they could get. You know, the pre-fight weigh-ins, like when they square up at the beginning, they're always talking shit because it's a brilliant way to get people to watch that fight. They think they're gonna fucking kill each other, and I mean, I think fighters by far do the best job with social media and promoting themselves before fights.
I have never been more engaged in a post-fight scenario than when Khabib went after McGregor.
And
Oh
fucking
my
no,
God,
that
with
was
his
real
team,
though.
with his whole
That was-
team.
I think
his
that was
trainers.
real. He jumped
was
out
real,
of
yeah.
the fucking ring into the stands, feet
Yeah.
first. Tried to
Unbelievable.
stomp his head.
And as I said earlier, I'm not a huge UFC watcher.
Mm-hmm.
I watch it when I can, Saturday nights if I'm free. That was insane. Like he lost, and then that just stirred up the most insane brawl. Like it was crazy. The ref didn't even
was
know. So you
wild.
saw the ref's face. He had he's supposed to break up anything that happens. The guy had no chance. There's bodies. There's face
in
flying
there,
in,
throwing
right hooks
fists.
everywhere. Like these guys, as we know, aren't just like your regular fighters. These guys are trained assassins.
Yeah.
Like these guys are going out to try to kill each other.
Yeah. Now talking about McGregor, the guy's retired how many times now?
I don't know. That guy. I mean,
He's gonna come back. They're just waiting.
all-
for him to
it's
come
all
back.
publicity.
Look who we have back.
Yeah,
Mr.
Jackie's
Glass
back.
Breaker
Welcome back,
over
Jack.
here.
Hit a little left shoulder right on my glass.
Welcome back.
But yeah, I think UFC done a great job during with that Fight Island. You can't go wrong. Golf's
Dana
done a-
White just announced their sales are way up.
way up.
Apparel
I mean,
sales.
what else? But
I
as
think-
I said, what else is on Saturday night
Yeah.
that you're
Nothing.
watching?
Yeah, nothing.
But UFC fucked that up. They made so many mistakes last weekend.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Did we or did we not watch UFC
Yeah.
from
8
7
hours.
p.m.
Wait.
to 1 in the morning for the last two
No.
weekends?
I think we spent 8 hours straight watching
easily.
UFC.
That's what I'm saying.
We
Fans
didn't move.
Dude,
Max.
fans want
Started at
engagement.
6,
though.
ended
They
at
want
2.
engagement, and that's what it's all about. The more engaged you can bring fans into the sport, the better. And I think Dana White does a good job. Soccer does a great job, and golf with the match, and even the PGA now is doing a great job. They're in the spotlight of sports right now because there's nothing else on. So looking forward, I want to see. It's interesting to see how they project, how UFC will do, how golf will do, how all these smaller sports compare in the US at least will do versus NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, right?
8 hours I spent watching UFC on Saturday.
But you watch
and
8 hours NFL on Sundays.
I went 0 for 5 on my picks.
That's a tough day. That's a tough day.
No.
We got Eddie on the stage.
Listen. I think UFC fucked up big time, but my picks are gonna make me pretty biased on that as well. So
I mean, there was a couple of robberies in there.
I think I agree. UFC really fucked me this weekend.
Well, you know what, guys? Today's been an unreal conversation. Great first episode. Happy to have you both on. Max, we'll miss you, buddy.
Yeah,
but it's been a great.
I'll be back soon.
We're gonna be putting out content on the weekly, and we're really looking forward to engaging with our fans. Putting out some good stuff going forward. So stay tuned.
Sign up for the beta.
Sign up for
Sign
the
up
fucking
for the
beta,
fucking beta.
baby. Thanks for tuning in. We're figuring out a posting schedule on our end, so make sure to follow us on Instagram @OwnersBox to stay up to date on all our content and activity. Until next time.